the quarter mark of the season, a meeting of teams tied for their lead in the respective divisions. Jake Gruden's Redskins, part of the NFC East, at 2-2, and Dan Quinn, first-year head coach in Atlanta, tied with idle Carolina at 4-0 to lead the NFC South. The Falcons won the coin toss, deferred. Matt Ryan will have to wait. He'll watch Kirk Cousins and the Redskin offense as Rashad Ross, who leads the NFL in kickoff returns, just under 34 yards a return, and has a 101-yarder for a touchdown. That was in Week 3 against the Giants. Back to receive from Matt Bosher. Game 5, Atlanta, Washington underway. Ross will down it. And Kirk Cousins hoping to lead the Redskins to back-to-back victories for the first time since Week 8 last year, and coming off games where he has completed 30 passes or more successively.
You know what, I think the decision to start Kirk Cousins to start this season was very much justified by the game last week in Philly. Talk about the process. This kid has picked it up really quickly here to start this 2015 season.
This is 5th start. It's coming against the Falcons. It matches last year's total overall. Alfred Morris in the backfield. Morris the carry, and brought down after a gain of a couple. Morris comes in averaging 4 yards a carry, has yet to score a touchdown. And at tight end, it's Derek Carrier starting for the injured Jordan Reed, dealing with the concussion protocol, and he'll be backed up by Anthony McCoy. And the offensive line, they didn't play together before this year, but they have played well for this Washington team. Cousins, pressure picked up, flag down, pass complete. Out of bounds is Pierre Garçon.
Holding, offensive number 71. 10-yard penalty, the team second down.
And the call on left tackle Trent Williams after we just complimented the offensive line. Meanwhile, let's check the Atlanta defense. Number 1 pick. He grew up in Georgia, a Falcon fan. Rookie Vic Beasley, hoping to provide some speed and pass rush. Paul Warlow led the team in tackles the last 2 years. And in the secondary, William Moore, one of the top takeaway safeties in the game. Here's Beasley staring in at Cousins on 2nd and 17. Morris knocked down after a gain of just a few.
You know, Chris, if there's one area where this Atlanta Falcons defense can improve, it is definitely the pass rush. You talked about Vic Beasley, who they drafted in the 1st round. Adrian Claiborne there, a holdover from Tampa that comes in to provide some energy to this pass rush. See if they can get after Kirk Cousins here in a backed up situation.
On 3rd and 13, Garçon has it and stopped short of the first down. Needed to get up to the 30. That'll bring up 4th down, so Washington's opening offensive opportunity stalls. Garçon came in as the leading receiver, tied with Jordan Reed in number of catches. He'll be the go-to guy with the injuries Rondé Barber talked about at the start of the broadcast for Kirk Cousins. Tress Way standing inside the 15. Eric Weems. Fair catch waved for at the 25. Falcon defense does its job. Let's see what Matt Ryan and the Atlanta offense can do. Hey, Barber, Chris Myers back at Atlanta.
Chris Culliver on the right there. D'Angelo Hall, the 2 starting cornerbacks. Without them today, Brashad Breeland and Will Blackman got the chore of stopping the monster Julio Jones today.
On 1st and 25, Devontae Freeman, just short of the 30, comes in with back-to-back 3-touchdown games. Matt Ryan, he's been an Iron Man here. Only missed 2 games since he's become a starter. And look at the numbers he has put up. Atlanta, one of 5 teams that come in to this weekend with a record of 4-0. They've swept through the NFC East so far. The Eagles, Giants, Cowboys come from behind wins and crushed the Texans last week. And it's Freeman. Dante Freeman right at the 35 and shoved backwards. Saw some of the quickness of the second year back from Florida State. Checking the lineup, and Julio Jones, who has been outstanding, leads the NFL with 38 catches. And the offensive line, patchwork put together, worked well for Ryan and the Falcons. Chris Chester, the former Redskin, and good enough for a first down. Back-to-back carries for Freeman. Ryan's a throw. Completes the pass, middle of the field. Inside the 45, Jacob Tamme down to the 40 of Washington. Tamme coming off the concussion with a big catch and carry.
Big play action team here in Atlanta, and Jacob Tamme just gets lost here behind the zone. To see the reaction by the underneath defense, and Matt Ryan is as good as anybody delivering these passes on these short completions. It's a big catch for Jacob Tamme.
A gain of 25 yards. You talk about Freeman and Julio Jones and Leonard Hankerson. Now you got to worry about Jacob Tamme. On first down, Ryan to throw with time. Julio Jones, and it went through his hands.
You know, this matchup here, Bashaud Breeland, Julio Jones, I don't know that he'll follow him around all day, but Julio is just a unique athlete, Chris. You can get, for a guy that's that big, to be able to get in and out of his cuts as quickly as he does, makes it real difficult on defensive backs.
Tevin Coleman, the rookie from Indiana, who had the injured ribs, checks in at running back for Freeman. He splits out as a wide receiver as Freeman stays in the backfield, and Jones is in motion. And the slot is Julio Jones. Ryan floats it for Julio, and it's intercepted off the hands of Jones. Trenton Robinson comes up with the first interception of this season for the Washington Redskins.
It's been a long time since Washington has taken the ball away. Talking to their coaches before the game, I think they were worried that they were going to set some kind of record on not getting interceptions. But Matt Ryan here trying to force this ball into Julio Jones. The coverage is there, but this ball just sails on him a little bit. Good job by Keenan Robinson covering up that lane and making him get that ball above his head. And, wow.
Redskins, they came in as one of just 3 teams in the league without an interception, and they grabbed their first of the year. Meanwhile, Matt Ryan had only thrown 2 picks this year. Matt Jones brought down right away. Paul Warlow on the tackle for the Falcons. What kind of Atlanta defense with Dan Quinn coming over from Seattle? It seems like he wants to bring, you have to have the players obviously, but he wants to bring that same Seahawks style of defense.
Well, you said it. If the players match the scheme, then yes, you can play that Seattle defense, but it is a single high, 3 deep type of scheme. William Moore will be in the box all day. He's their Cam Chancellor type player, but they're really good at it.
After no gain, Kirk Cousins with a screen to Matt Jones. Matt Jones all the way up across the 40. It's a first down. Jones played at Florida State with Atlanta's Devontae Freeman. It was quite a seminal backfield. He makes a big play here for Washington.
Yeah, good job by this offense. Getting something quick, completion. You get the turnover, need a play to get some yardage and change this field position. And Matt Jones, all these backs really in Washington, great receivers out of the backfield. We'll see him utilized that way a lot today.
That includes Chris Thompson, a Florida Stater. I want to correct, he played with Devontae Freeman. Matt Jones played at Florida as a Gator. But all 3 running backs will play, Morris, Jones, and Thompson. And this is Matt Jones up to the 45-yard line. Matt Jones, the rookie, 3rd-round draft pick. Alfred Morris, the 4-year veteran from Florida Atlantic, and Chris Thompson, the 2nd-year back from Florida State.
They've all had success in this offense too, Chris. Between this guy, Chris, Thompson, who we'll see mostly on third downs, and of course Alfred Morris have all had explosive type plays for this Redskins offense. And when you're on the road, Chris, big plays can help you. See if they can get either of these three guys going today.
Jones remains the back. Cousins has time. And knocked out short of the 45-yard line. Let's get a game break and check in with Mike Hill. Mike?
Hey, guys, don't sleep on the Bengals. They're unbeaten in there for real. First drive against Seattle. Andy Dalton, Tyler Eifert, 14 yards. That's the first TD allowed by that Seattle defense since Cam Chancellor's return. 7-0 Bengals early.
Yeah. I thank you. Fans on their feet on 3rd and 8. Cousins, incomplete. Derek Carrier, the tight end, was the target. It'll be 4th down.
Good pressure here on Kirk Cousins. You see O'Brien Schofield off the edge. Adrian Claiborne in there creates some pressure, and he forces a bad throw by Kirk Cousins. Good job by Atlanta's defense rising up to the occasion there and getting off on 3rd and long.
Tressway coming on to punt once again. Eric Weems at the 12 of Atlanta. And lets it sail over his head, bounces inside the 10, down around the 7-yard line. And the Redskins special teams with Quentin Dunbar downing it. Here comes Ryan and the Falcons again. After a 47-yard punt, Falcons start at their own 9. And Matt Ryan, that's the first interception suffered throwing to Julio Jones this year. The other 2 came when he was attempting to throw to Roddy White. Trenton Robinson came up with the big play in the last series. Devontae Freeman carries. Knocked down at the 10-yard line. The Washington defense, Chris Baker came up with a couple of sacks last week. Glad to have Barry Riley Jr. back, who's from Stone Mountain, Georgia, coming off a calf injury. Keenan Robinson has maybe been the defensive MVP of the Redskins so far this season, leading the team in tackles. And in the secondary, Rondé has talked about the injuries at corner. Deshaun Goldson, the safety, voted team captain by the players. Rare for a first-year player with a new team. Coleman splits as a receiver to the top of your screen. Ryan's pass again to Jacob Tamme, out of bounds, no catch. And Bashad Breeland was over there covering. Now they're saying it is a catch. One official overruled by the other.
You know, this is a unique offensive set. Yeah.
Bill Vinovich is our referee.
That's a catch. They're giving him the catch. But that was a unique offensive set there by Kyle Shanahan. Both running backs in the game. Usually they use a fullback out here, but give credit to this offense for diversifying their offensive lineup, giving some more options for Matt Ryan.
On 3rd and 5. Pass is caught. It's Tamme again for a first down, just short of the 25-yard line. Matt Ryan called Tamme a pro's pro. He knows where to go and how to get open to catch the football. And he, early in this game, other than Julio Jones, has been a primary target.
Well, Matt Ryan is one of the best, if not the best, intermediate throwers in the NFL. You don't see him push the ball down the field very often, but these underneath completions to backs to tight ends are his specialty.
Fakes to Freeman, and Ryan Kerrigan is in for the sack.
Ryan Kerrigan had a couple of high-profile misses, I should say, last week against Philadelphia. You see him at the bottom of your screen right here, and on his boot action, he gets matched up on the fullback. And he's just no challenge there for Ryan Kerrigan. He goes by and gets this sack on Matt Ryan. You know, this offense, Chris, uses a lot of misdirection now to fake the stretch option, but it leaves your quarterback exposed sometimes, and Ryan Kerrigan is able to cash in right there.
A 2nd and 19, backs them up to their own 16. Ryan has to go underneath to Jacob Tammy again. So get some of that penalty yardage back. It'll bring up 3rd down. The Falcons need to get up to the 35-yard line to get a first down. There's Dan Quinn, who has stepped in and taken the Falcons to a fast start. Teron Ward, the rookie from Oregon State, is in at running back on 3rd and 9. And incomplete. Looked like Ryan was trying to dump it off to Ward. It'll be 4th down. Well, the Redskins seem to at least have Matt Ryan uncomfortable so far.
Well, this is a much sounder Redskins defense than it has in past years. You know, there would be times in the past you'd watch this Redskins defense, you really couldn't figure out what was going on, but Joe Barry's come in as defensive coordinator. They keep everything in front of them, get 3rd and long situation right there, force Matt Ryan to throw it underneath and get an incompletion and again get off the football field.
Matt Bosher, who leads the NFC in punting with a gross average of just over 52 yards, and the rookie Jamison Crowder has the football for Washington and works up the sideline, knocked down up across the 32-yard line. Good field position for Washington. Their 2nd offensive opportunity. So far, Redskins Falcons scoreless in Atlanta. The ALDS returns to FS1 tonight. Game 3 between the Blue Jays and Rangers. Toronto has to win to stay alive in the series. Texas heads home with a chance to complete the sweep. We hope you tune in on FS1. Also streaming live on Fox Sports Go. It'll be Marco Estrada and Martin Perez in the pitching matchup. You'll see it on FS1 from the 33 of Washington. Alfred Morris remains the back. Coach Jay Gruden said, well, I guess he should carry 16 to 18 times a game, and then we'll see what the other guys do. And Morris brought down right away. What about the rhyme or reason of the use of the running backs here with Matt Jones, Chris Thomas?
Well, the good thing about this backfield, talking to Alfred Morris yesterday, is they're completely unselfish. He does not mind sharing carries with Matt Jones and Chris Thompson given the opportunity. You know, you got to appreciate a back who's had so much success in the NFL already at a young age that he was willing to share his carries. You see Chris Thompson in the backfield. He's an explosive player. See if we can get the ball to him here on this 2nd and long situation.
After the loss of 2 on the play by Grady Jarrett, Cousins from the pocket and completes to Chris Thompson, who gets a first down up to the 45-yard line.
And that's exactly what Chris Thompson is good at. If you've watched any Washington games, you know he is a threat out of the backfield. He is a matchup problem against most linebackers in the NFL, and here he's matched up against Joplo Bartu. You just see the option route, choice route, sticks his foot in the ground, and Kirk Cousins was looking for him the whole way. He gets up 13 yards there.
And so now Matt Jones, the rookie from Florida, checks in. All 3 running backs are from the state of Florida and went to college in the state of Florida. Here comes a flag.
Encroachment. Defense number 96. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Paul Soliai called for the infraction.
Good hard count there by Kirk Cousins. You know, they talk to this Redskins staff, and they talk about having a quarterback coach in this room now, working specifically with Kirk Cousins and the other quarterbacks, and I think it's helped them tremendously this year as opposed to last. Matt Jones slips into Atlanta territory. Soliai knocks him down.
It'll bring up second down short. Need to get to the 45 of the Falcons. Yeah, it was Kirk Cousins who went to Jay Gruden last year and said, we need a quarterback coach. And Jay Gruden admitted as a head coach, there's a lot of responsibilities. Yeah, I like quarterbacks. I coached in that area. And it's the right thing. It's worked out well.
Well, Jay thought either him or Sean McVay would be able to spend some time with the quarterbacks, but really, they do got too much going on. So the addition of Kavanaugh, I think, is why you're seeing such marked improvement in Kirk Cousins in this season.
Matt Jones, the pitch. Can he get the first down? Yes. All the way down to the 40 of Atlanta. Falcons not only lead the Redskins running here against the Falcons. Washington not only leads the NFL in rushing with 140 yards per game, but in time of possession. And look what that ball control does. It helps a team that is depleted with star-making injuries like that of Reed and Deshaun Jackson.
You take away the big explosive element when you don't have a guy like Deshaun Jackson in your lineup. So, yeah, it makes sense that they're leaning on their running game. When you can control the clock in the NFL, you have yourself a good chance of winning football games.
Cousins to throw. Open inside the 20 is Pierre Garçon.
Pierre Garçon right here, top of your screen here, running free through this zone coverage of the Atlanta Falcons. You see Desmond Trufant passing him off to nobody. They got to give a lot of credit here to Morgan Moses there on the edge, giving his quarterback some protection, some time to deliver that football.
He had the game-winning touchdown catch from Cousins with 26 seconds last week. Also, there's a third catch in that big drive for Washington after a gain of 21. Handoff Morris, and tumbles his way to the 15.
Well, this is an offense that thrives on being patient. They've done a great job of it all year, taking what the defense gives you. And this Atlanta defense, if you watch it, you try to explain what they do well, they don't give up the big plays. So when you get these little underneath passes, you got to be able to get it right, and they were able to do it on this drive so far.
Redskins already with the time of possession advantage in the opening quarter. Scoreless as we get ready to play quarter number 2. The Redskins knocking on the door. An early takeaway, an interception by Washington against Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Scoreless after 1. Fox NFL Sunday continues in a moment. Glad to have you watching wherever you're watching. WTTG, Fox 5 in D.C., and our affiliate here in Atlanta, WAGA, Fox 5. With Rondé Barber, Jennifer Hale, Chris Myers, a brisk moving opening quarter. On 2nd and 6, Alfred Morris. It'll bring up third down.
Atlanta Falcons get situational football. You see all these substitutions coming into the game. Vic Beasley, Jonathan Babineau, Adrian Claiborne, all these guys are pass rushers. See if they can pin their ears back and get after the quarterback here.
And for the Redskins, Jamison Crowder and Chris Thompson are in. Cousins, Chris Thompson, thrown down right away at the 10-yard line. Nate Stupar was over there.
And Nate Stupar is a guy, when you ask Dan Quinn, is a jack of all trades, does a little bit of everything for this defense.
Now it's 4th down and short. A decision for Jay Gruden, and he's going for it.
And I like this decision to go for it. You're on the road. You know Atlanta scores a lot of points. Get a touchdown or convert something here early.
Cousins keeps lunging forward on 4th and short.
And he got a big push up front from his offensive line. And from where they're putting their foot down there, it looks like he did, in fact, get this first down.
Well, the officials will tell you, and it's so difficult. That line, they do use it. It's not an official line. We superimpose it, but they have a tough time where the ball is, when the player is down. It's really difficult to sort out in live action. And Bill Vinovich says, good enough.
That's a great point, Chris. The line judge there, Mike Spanier, coming from the sideline. This is what he sees. Look at that mass of bodies. How do you even know where the football is? You got to run in there and find the spot after the play is over. But yeah, the big push there by Spencer Long. And I think he got enough for the first down here. Over the center there, Corey Lichtensteiger, too.
An aggressive drive. They go on 4th and 1 and get it. First and goal. Morris brought down right away. Some tough yards in there against this Atlanta defense.
Well, it's tough sledding in there when Atlanta has Paul Solii and Rashidi Hageman, two huge bodies in the middle of that defensive line for Atlanta. I think they're a little bit better, have a little bit more success when they can get this ball on the edge.
Rashid Hageman is 6'6". Paul Solii is over 350 pounds. Kirk Cousins, end zone throw high and off the hands of Pierre Garçon.
Chris, it looked like he had his guy here. Pierre Garçon, one of the good ones. This ball maybe a little bit out of his reach, but good decision. You know, you got to slant. They're playing single high defense, so they know the corners are in man-to-man out there on the outside. The ball is just a little bit too high out of the grasp of Pierre Garçon.
On 3rd and goal from the 7. Cousins has time. End zone. Touchdown Redskins. Derek Carrier.
What a great job here by Kirk Cousins. Showing some patience in the pocket here. He's getting some great protection. Watch this pocket here. These no penetrators on that defense. He has time to go through 3 or 4 reads there and finds his tight end just over the end line for a touchdown.
That's his first career touchdown catch, and for Cousins, his 5th touchdown pass of the year. But going for it on 4th down, the Redskins now 3 out of 5 on 4th down this year. Produces an early touchdown in Atlanta. The extra point by Dustin Hopkins is good. Cousins to Carrier. The Redskins lead 7-0 on the road here in the 2nd quarter. Atlanta with a 12-play scoring drive, and they lead the NFL in scoring drives of 10 plays or more, consuming 6 minutes, 47 seconds, and a 7-0 advantage. Dustin Hopkins, and Eric Weems is going to down it in the end zone. Falcons will give it a try on offense. Already trailing here at home, 7-0. One of the top scoring teams in the league. Julio Jones does not have a catch early in this game. The hamstring aggravated somewhat. It's wrapped in the pregame. He stretched, worked it out, and stayed in his normal rotation so far in the game. And practice, they've been working with him during this stretch, making sure he's getting the necessary work, but not too much.
Yeah, he's not getting a lot of work during practice, but I think there was no question that he was playing in this football game today.
And they have a short week Thursday night going up against the Saints from the NFC South. 3rd possession for Atlanta. Matt Ryan incomplete, trying to go to Jacob Tamby, who already has 4 catches. And this offense comes in averaging 34 points a game. Let's check in down on the field with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, I've been standing next to Julio Jones, watching him consistently stretching out that hamstring, making sure it stays loose. I spoke with Coach Dan Quinn before the game, and he said, you know, the speculation that he might not be ready to go, he really felt was unfounded, that test was really more of a warm-up this morning, Chris.
Thank you. So far, no catches for Julio Jones, who came in leading the NFL with 38. Freeman and Coleman in the backfield. And it is Coleman who gets the carry and escapes across to the 23-yard line.
Yeah, again, we see Atlanta with both Freeman and Coleman in the backfield. This is an offense that lines up quite frequently with a fullback. Not many of those left in the NFL. But again, Kyle Shanahan throwing another wrinkle into this offense, and it helps when you have this many weapons to use. You can do so much on this side of the ball.
And Teron Ward comes in. The deepest Atlanta has gone so far to the Washington 40. That's where Ryan threw the interception. On 3rd and 8. Ryan completes up to the 35 as Leonard Hankerson, the one-time Redskin. First down Falcons. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, in another NFC East versus South matchup, the Saints have the lead at Philadelphia. Benjamin Watson, little 6-yard reception off the hands of Drew Brees, and it's 7-0 in the second quarter. Chris, Rondé, and Jed.
Thank you, Kurt. And again, the Panthers have their bye week this week, also 4-0 like the Falcons. Hankerson headed to the sideline after that catch as Freeman checks in at running back once again. Ryan fakes there. And Julio Jones was tangled up. Here comes a flag. Will Blackman was back there with him.
Illegal contact. Defense number 41. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Will Blackman hasn't had a lot of game time with these Redskins, and Julio Jones, watch this route. It's a little in, out, sticks it, and comes outside, and he's clear pass interference. He impedes his way to the football.
Blackman, who's been, this is 6th NFL team, actually played 2 in the Arena League with the Arizona Rattlers, getting his first start as a Redskin. Chris Culliver down this week. D'Angelo Hall remains out as Culliver looks on. He gutted it out last week in the win against Philadelphia. He couldn't go here. Ryan's pass for Julio Jones incomplete. Blackman on the coverage.
Well, this was good coverage here by Will Blackman. And press man on the line of scrimmage, stays square. Look how patient he is with Julio Jones and seeing through the receiver to the quarterback, gets his hands in, and nice pass breakup.
Now, Rondé, that's the 10th pass attempt by Ryan. We've had 4 rushing attempts. A little surprised that Atlanta's not running the ball more against this Washington defense. And there they do run it to Freeman, who's brought down across the 45.
Well, I think they know what the weakness of this Washington defense is right now. We've showed both corners having opportunities on Julio Jones. They've actually done a pretty decent job. And Joe Barry told us, and this is interesting because if you watch the Houston game, Houston did a lot of stuff to take away Julio Jones. Other players stepped up. Washington's going to play their defense, and these guys have done an admirable job so far.
Leonard Hankerson is back in at receiver with Julio Jones and Roddy White. On 3rd down. Ryan floats one to Jacob Tamme. First down. 37 of Washington.
Well, Jacob Tamme came into this game without a whole bunch of targets. You see him right here in the middle of the screen. Little out, up. Tony Gonzalez made that route famous. It sticks around in this offense. And Matt Ryan, like I said, with these short to intermediate throws is deadly. He throws a strike to his tight end for another big first down.
A gain of 17. Tamme, people remember, teamed with Peyton Manning in 6 of his first seasons. Signed with the Falcons for his 8th NFL season. Had a big game week 2 against the Giants with 4 catches. Freeman out of the 33.
I love how quick Devontae Freeman's feet are when he gets in the hole. He makes decisive cuts whenever he gets the football. Talked about him in the open, how active he's been in the passing game. But this guy is an explosive runner. He had a slow start to his career. He was hurt during the preseason.
And Julio Jones stretching a little bit there around him. Working that hamstring.
Yeah, it's obviously bothering him. He's taken a number of snaps off already.
Freeman with a hole and takes advantage. inside the 25 of Washington for another Falcon first down. Talking about Freeman, and the coaching staff talks about his quickness and his hand-eye coordination.
Well, Tevin Coleman is the back in this offense that usually gets downhill, but look at him stick his foot in the ground and get vertical through that gap. Good block there by Jacob Tamme to set that edge and give him a lane. And like I said, his feet move so quick on the ground. Great at change of direction. Runs with some power, too.
Kyle Shanahan dialing up the plays, the one-time Redskin offensive coordinator. Freeman came in leading the NFL with 7 touchdowns. Coleman checks in, gets the pitch. Knocked down right away. Let's check in again with Jennifer.
Well, Chris, Leonard Hankerson is right now headed into the Atlanta Falcons locker room. He's in a lot of pain. He tried to go back into the game, but just really couldn't even stand up straight. So as soon as we get more on the official diagnosis from what the doctors say in the locker room, we'll let you know, Chris.
All right, thank you. Coming off his best game as a Falcon and his second 100-yard game. Julio Jones back in, toughing it out here on 2nd and 9, and Tevin Coleman the back. Matt Ryan. And that was almost intercepted. Again, intended for Julio Jones. Kaishan Jarrett, the nickel, had an opportunity to grab the second pick of the day.
Kaishan Jarrett is a safety. And with all his injuries in the secondary, even going back to training camp, the coaching staff realized that this guy could play inside and nickel. He's pretty much purely an inside nickel type corner, but he's done some really good things early in this season for the Redskins.
So Nick Williams has come in at receiver along with White. With Hankerson in the locker room, Teron Ward, the running back. Ryan on the move, throws on the move, and incomplete. Dropped by Jacob Tamme. Would have been enough for a first down.
Well, you hate to see a drive stalled out because that ball hit Jacob Tamme right between the numbers. Good movement by Matt Ryan, a really underrated aspect of his game, and on the run to his left, and that's got to be a catch in extending this drive. But instead, we get Matt Bryant to attempt a field goal here from 42 yards. One of the most accurate kickers in the league, has not missed.
Nails it again. 13 straight field goals made. And the Falcons trail 7-3. The Atlanta offensive line helping to get the team within field goal range. And over on the Redskins side, keeping the Falcons out of the end zone. These are the top 2 teams when it comes to time of possession. Ball control is good, but you want to get points at the end, and obviously the Redskins get the touchdown. Atlanta has to settle for 3. Bosher sends this to Rashad Ross. Ross gets up across the 24-yard line where Washington comes back over on offense. Get a little hostile down there, but everybody staying cool. 7-3 in the second quarter. Here in Atlanta, no shortage of Redskin quarterbacks, all great ones in their time. Sonny Jurgensen, Joe Theismann, Doug Williams. Joe still looks like he's 30 years old. And there's Kirk Cousins, who was 4 out of 5 on the last drive, including a touchdown pass. Matt Jones, he fakes. Kirk Cousins throws just off the fingertips of Pierre Garçon.
Got to give a lot of credit to this Washington offensive line early in this game, Chris. We talked about the running game. We got two young guys here, Morgan Moses, Brandon Sheriff, starting for the first time for the Redskins. We know what Trent Williams is on the other side. I think they're doing a good job early in this football game protecting their quarterback, giving them time and open up lanes for that running game.
Bill Callahan, the coach, coordinates the running game, a great addition to this staff. Cousins backpedaling and throws incomplete. Let's get a game break. Check in on the Eagles and Saints with Mike Hill.
All right, down 7-0. Eagles coming back. Sam Bradford finds Josh Huff, and Huff is going to do the rest. His first career touchdown catch. Give him 8 on the execution of the flip, 6 for the touchdown. We're tied at 7 in the second. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. There's Bill Callahan. His offensive line did a great job in that late drive to beat the Eagles last week. And Cousins and Garcon finished that off. 6 defensive backs on 3rd down. Jamison Crowder's first catch, and he's got room, and a first down, spinning across the 36-yard line.
Oh boy, I tell you what, that was good hustle play by Adrian Claiborne, and that was going to be out the gate for Jamison Crowder. Watch this replay, and Paul Warlow resisting. Watch him get in the backfield right now, but Jamison Crowder, this is why he is their starting inside slot guy. Paul Warlow's clean to the back, outruns him, and look at him get vertical in this defense. And again, if 99 wasn't there to stop that explosion play, that was going to go 80 yards for a touchdown.
13 of his 15 catches came in the 2 previous games. A gain of 14 and a timeout called for Washington. They will have 2 remaining. Redskins have the lead and have the football on the move.
Welcome back to Atlanta, where the Falcons' Leonard Hankerson is now in the locker room undergoing x-rays and further tests on a rib injury. You can see how he was having trouble standing straight up. He tried to go back in the game, but just couldn't make a go of it. Right now, his status is questionable for the rest of this game, Chris.
All right, thanks, Jan. And the Redskins have relied on their tight end, just like Jacob Tammy, who is the leading receiver for Atlanta with 5 catches. Carrier the touchdown catch for Washington, with some of the receivers injured as Matt Jones carries.
Well, it's a good test here for Atlanta. You know, they're coming off a 12-play drive, or giving up a 12-play drive. Dan Quinn's defense hasn't been known to generate a lot of pressure, and so far today, neither Vic Beasley or any of these designated rushers have affected the pocket for Kirk Cousins. And he's having himself a little bit of a nice day so far.
Cousins 7 of 11, 87 yards on the touchdown. After no gain for Garcon, and that's the 3rd time he's at least gotten his hands on the ball and couldn't hold on. Desmond Trufant with a nice defensive play.
Desmond Trufant is one of the really good young corners in football. I love how quick his hips are. Change of direction, gets away with a little bit of a grab there, but his change of direction is as solid as any young corner in the game. It's now 3 incompletions throwing at Pierre Garcon. You got to give some credit to those 2 corners.
Six defensive backs on 3rd down, middle of the field, and it's intercepted. Robert Alford took it out of the hands of Pierre Garcon, who was sliding to the ground. And a takeaway for the Falcons.
I tell you what, Chris, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Not saying this coverage wasn't good on Pierre Garcon. It was excellent coverage. But again, Kirk Cousins has plenty of time to deliver this football. To strike, it's a little bit behind him. And look how funky this ball comes off the ground here. Should have been a catch to touch his hands, but nice awareness by Robert Alford to stay with this play and get the interception.
Garcon made a great effort to reach back and get his hands on the ball, but that's what kept it alive for the Alford pick. So each team now with an interception. Garcon having a rough day so far. And Kirk Cousins said, I need him. He's my guy. He's my go-to guy. From the 40 of Washington. Falcons take over. Devontae Freeman. He gets the carry. Inside the 35 of Washington. Freeman came in averaging just under 4 yards a carry. He's also one of the top receivers on this team with 17 receptions.
He's done a little bit of everything, hasn't he, Chris? You know, had 80-something yards receiving last week. Obviously, he's had 3 touchdowns in successive games.
carried 7 times today, averaging 5 a pop against Washington. In trouble there. Excellent defensive play.
And we were talking about it earlier. He didn't come into the season as the starter. I was mentioning that he had a little bit of a slow start. He was injured. And then Tevin Coleman had the injury 2 weeks ago and gave him an opportunity. And he's been running downhill ever since, having some good showings for these Falcons.
And similar to Washington, Dan Quinn in Atlanta uses all 3 backs. Obviously, Freeman has emerged as the touchdown maker. On 3rd and 6. Time for Matt Ryan. Pass a little behind, but what a catch. Nick Williams, second-year receiver from Connecticut.
It's a really nice route combination between Nick Williams and Julio Jones at the top of the screen. They're playing man-to-man coverage. Julio Jones ran a little under route, gave all that space to the sideline for Nick Williams to work on Kaishawn Jarrett.
And Williams is in because Hankerson has the rib injury after a gain of 13. He's up at the top of your screen. Ryan looks that way. End zone for Williams, an overthrow. This Falcon team scored 137 points. A franchise record for the first 4 games of the season coming in before they were able to add 3. Kyle Shanahan dialing in the plays for Matt Ryan. And the Redskin defensive coaching staff countering. That's Julio Jones in motion. He's without a catch so far. Ryan, handoff, inside slick move to Freeman. It's down to the 16. We'll bring up 3rd down. They need to get to the 13 for a first down. They'll need about 3 yards. But in the red zone, they score touchdowns 80% of the time.
Julio doesn't have a catch today. Roddy White, I don't think, has been targeted yet today. The tight end has been very active. It's been a ball control type of offense here. Let's see if one of these guys, Julio Jones down here at the bottom of your screen, Roddy White at the top, soloed by himself. See if he gets an opportunity here.
Matt Ryan is going to be brought down and the ball is out. And the Redskins are on it. William Compton comes up with the recovery. And Jason Hatcher and Chris Baker forced the fumble on Ryan when he tried to take off in the pocket. His 2nd turnover.
It's just a good job by these 2 guys. Watch the game up front. See the rookie Preston Smith come inside. Just staying with the play is Jason Hatcher, and just ball awareness. Tackle the football. Good defensive players. I'm sorry, this is Baker, not Hatcher. Aware of the football. That ball is clearly coming out. It's a big turnover for this Washington defense.
The Falcons were the only team in the league who had not lost a fumble until now. All turnovers reviewed just to make sure.
The previous play is under review.
And Bill Vinovich says they are reviewing the play. Was Matt Ryan down? That's what the officiating crew wants to see before he lost the football.
Well, we're going to look at this left elbow. That'll be the determining factors. His knees are not on the ground, but if his left elbow touches the ground forearm, I'm sorry, the ball was out, I think, and that's going to stick as a turnover for the Redskins defense.
Ruled on the field as a sack fumble recovery. Washington. Bill Vinovich has had a closer look.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Washington.
And it's the right call.
Definitely the right call. This angle is very clear that Chris Baker is ripping this ball free before any part of Matt Ryan's body touches the ground. You gotta wonder, Chris, why 3rd and 3? Why didn't they try something quick, get that ball out of his hands? He was gives this Washington defense, who had 5 sacks last week, a chance to get after the quarterback, and it calls a turnover.
2 sacks today, 11 for the season for Washington's defense. Chris Thompson, second-year player from Florida State, heads out of bounds. And the Redskins protecting a 7-3 advantage, nearing the 2-minute warning. Cousins told us, I'm a better quarterback than I was last year. In fact, it was interesting. He met with John Gruden in the offseason to go over film study, to learn a little bit more about playing the position. We have reached the 2-minute warning. At apps, videos, and more at itunes.com/NFL. With Rondé Barber and Jennifer Hale, Chris Myers here in Atlanta. A low-scoring first half. 2 takeaways by the Washington defense. The offense on 2nd down 5 with Chris Thompson, the running back. And Cousins to throw. And incomplete to Thompson.
Falcons defense has 6 DBs on the grass right now. And I think it's mainly so they can get a better matchup on Chris Thompson out of the backfield. The starters are in. Thursday is in. Kamal Ishmael is in too. See what they got on 3rd and 5 here to get up the field and give them the ball back to their offense right before the half.
Atlanta has 3 timeouts. All 3, Washington 2. Falcons will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter as well.
There you go, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DBs on the grass.
Cousins. Incomplete for Ryan Grant. It's 4th down. Phillip Adams back there covering, one of those extra defensive backs you were talking about.
You know, one of the great things that I love about Dan Quinn is that everybody on the roster, all 53 guys, have a role. You're not going to be on his team if you're not going to have a role, and he gives every person an opportunity to play. We saw a prime example of that right there, where you have those extra DBs on the field for a specific reason.
Tressway with a high Bowman kick. Here comes a flag as Reams has the ball and is knocked down at the 40. A 50-yard punt. We'll check the flag. We've only had 3 penalties accepted total in the game so far.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Kicking team number 22. Did not immediately return inbounds. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Atlanta keeps the ball. 1st down.
That call is on DeShazer Everett. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's funny that this is an unsportsmanlike penalty, but the vice puts him out of bounds. You have to immediately attempt to get back into the green there. And he took a little too many steps down that white line. And it's an unsportsmanlike call.
Maybe the other reads describe that penalty.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand the penalty, but
I agree. You do it because you're not supposed to be able to touch a guy when he's on that white stripe. He just tried to take advantage of it and he got caught.
But the penalty, Ronnie, puts the ball all the way to the 45 of Washington. Devontae Freeman slips a tackle, fights hard before he's thrown down at the 38-yard line. Perry Riley Jr. on the tackle as Atlanta hustles. Clock runs again, all 3 timeouts. Need 2 for a 1st down, and Freeman will get that and get inside the 30 of Washington.
Devontae Freeman has been an explosive player, the most explosive player on this offense today. I'd keep feeding him this ball. You got plenty of time on the clock. See if you can get it to him out of the backfield here. See if you can make somebody else miss.
That was his 10th carry. Jacob Tamme with another catch, his 6th of the game.
Matt Ryan is so good in these situations, these 2-minute drives. Feel the energy in his offense.
One of the reasons they had come from behind wins in their first 3 games. Matt Ryan hesitates, and he brought the ball back in, and Kerrigan brought him down. And a timeout used by the Falcons.
And he is not happy. He's fired up. I think he's yelling at his receivers.
Well, he doesn't have Leonard Hankerson, who's been bothered in this game because of the rib injury.
Hey, watch this route combination right here. Good job by this underneath defense of Washington. He could have delivered the ball right there to Julio Jones. The other side again. Nobody available. Not sure why he didn't dial up Roddy White there, because he had Breeland turned around.
Well, now it's 3rd down and 6 from the 25-yard line. And you would have thought that they would have been able to take more of an advantage of this banged-up Redskins secondary.
They're playing well. His corners are playing well, keeping everything in front of him, making him throw the ball short, making him try to be patient is not working so far today for this Falcons offense.
Ryan. Pass is caught by Tammy. It's going to be close for the first down. William Compton, who had the fumble recovery, was there on the tackle, and it's 4th down. And they're going to have to either call a timeout or decide if they're going to let it run and kick a field goal. Some frustration from the play caller and the quarterback, and Atlanta uses the timeout. And here comes Matt Bryant.
Yeah, give credit. Again, Joe Barry, this defense for the Washington Redskins playing some sound defense here at the end of the half and forcing this Matt Bryant attempt.
To keep Atlanta to just 6 points for Washington in the first half, provided this field goal is good. It's a major Redskin victory. Now Bryant made from 42. This will be 38 yards. And if you include his extra points and field goals, 22 straight kicks converted by the 40-year-old kicker. Matt Bosher is the holder. And no! Off the upright and no good. So Washington's defense does an even better job of holding this Atlanta offense to just 3 first-half points. The Falcons will get the football to start the second half. We're going to head to Los Angeles. The Visa halftime report coming up. Kirk Cousins with a touchdown pass to tight end Derek Carrier, the only touchdown in the first half of this game. The Redskins with a couple of takeaways against Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Robert Alford with the interception. Recovered fumble by Washington. Missed field goal by Matt Bryant, snapping his string, and that's where we are at 7-3. And that was today's excitement, brought to you by Nissan. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, our view from the Georgia Dome. And nice to have you watching with us, the NFL on Fox here in Atlanta. Well, the Falcons had 28 points at halftime last week. They only have 3 here. We know about the takeaways in the Washington defense, but they've been a come-from-behind team all year. There's a reason they're 4-0. What do you expect from Matt Ryan and the Falcons to start the second half?
Well, I expect some more targets to Julio Jones. He's only been targeted 4 times today. He's been basically a non-factor. Jacob Tammy has had some success in some underneath passes, but I really got to give some credit when you're talking about this Atlanta offense to this Washington defense. These corners who are untested have done a great job so far today, not giving up any explosive plays.
The pressure up front on Matt Ryan certainly has had an effect, and if you're the Redskins, you have a narrow lead on the road. I guess offensively you just grind it out like they do with that rushing game and that time of possession, keep it in your favor.
Like we said in the open, they need to shorten this football game, and being able to do that in the running game with Alfred Morris and the stable of running backs that they have here will give them an opportunity, yes, to win on the road. This dome, Chris, is really quiet. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of positive energy in here, and the Redskins are doing their job, I think, early in this football game.
How Julio Jones looked uncomfortable when you pointed out. How uncomfortable to the point of playing through pain, as players often do when you're the #1 target for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, and there was a couple of forced throws early in the game to Julio. One led to an interception. But he's one of these guys. If you ask him, he says cheetahs don't stretch, so he doesn't feel like he needs to practice. He just goes out and plays. He's that kind of talent, but they definitely need to get him more involved. And Leonard Hankerson, who Jen told us earlier, went into the locker room, came back out, and it looks like he is going to be able to play and go in the second half.
And important to help Matt Ryan in this Atlanta offense, which came in averaging just over 34 points a game, third in the NFL behind New England and Arizona. Dustin Hopkins, Eric Weems in the end zone, and the 20-yard line is where Ryan and the Falcons will take over on offense. Let's check in again with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, Rondé is exactly right. Leonard Hankerson is indeed back for the Falcons this half. Now, Dan Quinn's a positive guy, but he did not sugarcoat things for his team at halftime. He told them they did not play well, but they need to get back in this game and show some grit. Jay Gruden, meanwhile, very happy with how his young defensive backs are performing. He says this moment hasn't been too large for them. They've been able to mix up the coverages and stay focused. He's very pleased. You know, DB coach Perry Fuel challenged them before this game to take the moment and prove themselves. And Chris, they certainly seem to be doing that today.
Well, Will Blackman, the 30-year-old veteran, has hung in there as well with his first start as a Redskin. Falcons actually on the time of possession advantage as Ryan's pass is on target to Julio Jones. And the ball comes out on the back end. It looks like Julio gathered it back in.
We talked about him needing more targets, and they come
No. Let's see who they're pointing. Who's got the recovery? The official was pointing in the other direction, but hang on, I want to make sure. And Julio Jones did come up with the football. I'm sorry, Ron.
No, it's good. I was unsure of it myself. Nice quick completion. You need to get him involved, get it to him early, and just ball security has been an issue for Atlanta today, and he's lucky to fall back on that.
A gain of 20 from the 40. Devontae Freeman with some blocks and gets into the clear inside the 45 of Washington.
Kyle Shanahan has brought this zone blocking, stretch running game to the Atlanta Falcons, and this is it. If you wonder what it is and why he's had so much success, let those linemen get up on their defense, on the defensive players, extend it and wait for your back to get north and south. And Devontae Freeman did a great job of it right there.
64 yards rushing today. He had a career high 145 yards against Dallas in week 3. That was his only 100-yard game so far this season. Matt Ryan escapes underneath to Freeman. He gets down inside the 38. Looked like Matt Ryan wanted to go deep to Julio Jones.
He had Julio Jones streaking through the secondary right there. But good pressure on the edge here against Matt Ryan and showing a little bit of athleticism, ducking under and finding this outlet. Watch Julio Jones get up on Will Blackman. Still doesn't look 100% to me, Chris. He's got that little gimp there. Actually pretty good coverage.
Ricky Jean-Francois was the one who put the pressure on Matt Ryan. 3 receivers to his right, top of your screen. He fakes the handoff and, it was dropped at the 35 by Nick Williams. The Falcon offense is out of sync.
They really are. There's just some things going right, obviously. You asked a question earlier in the second quarter about why they're not running the football, and to me that's been where they've had their success. Turn around, hand this ball off to number 24, let him bring the energy and the juice that he's been providing all year. But when they've dropped back, you see 3 sacks. He's been hurried a bunch of times. This Redskins defense is getting after this Falcons today.
Leonard Hankerson checks back in. Teron Ward is the running back on 3rd and 5. Ryan has time, deep and over the head of Hankerson. He didn't exactly look comfortable running that pattern either.
Now you could tell he's laboring a little bit to run down the field. See Leonard Hankerson right there in the middle of the screen against the converted safety, Kyshawn Jarrett, and yeah, just overthrows. I mean, this Atlanta offense does not throw the ball well deep down the field. It's one of, if there's a weakness to Matt Ryan's game, it's definitely that.
All right, it's 4th down, and they're going to go for it from the 39. Jay Gruden went for it in the first half, got it, and converted that drive to a touchdown. On 4th down and 5, Ryan to Freeman, lunging, and got the first down. Looked like Ryan maybe thought about running there, but whatever he did what he had to do.
Looking for a spark on this offense, and Dan Quinn said enough of this nonsense. Let's get this thing going. 4-down territory early in the second half, and I like the decision.
Julio Jones over on the sideline. Dan Quinn appreciating toughness at every position. Kind of a defensive mindset, but he likes that on offense as well. Aggressive and attacking is what he wants his Falcon team to be. They have been this year. First down throw. Incomplete for Roddy White. Rashad Breeland over there covering, the best cover man for the Redskins secondary, and White the franchise leader in catches, receiving yards, and touchdown grabs.
Look at that break by Rashad Breeland. He is a very interesting young corner. He's the nickel back when the other two corners are healthy, but saw him play a couple of times last year. He's physical. He's got great athleticism. It's a nice play by him.
First target of the game for Roddy White. 24 attempts already for Matt Ryan. The pitch to Devontae Freeman, who makes a little move and gets inside the 30. Ryan Kerrigan, who has a sack in this game. Last week there were talk about Kerrigan whiffing on a few sacks, and his coaching staff said, hey, sometimes you miss a few layups, but the pressure has been good from this Redskin team, and we expect to see more of it here.
Nothing more frustrating than missing layups.
On 3rd down. Ryan's throw, incomplete. He had to release it before Julio Jones made his cut. Breeland looked like he got a hand on that football. It's 4th down and a 48-yard field goal try for Matt Bryant.
Some good underneath defense here by Keenan Robinson. He's the one that actually gets his hand in there and deflects that ball away from Julio Jones. Again, give credit to this Redskins defense. They've needed to step up a number of times in the red zone, and again, they do it and force a field goal attempt here by Atlanta.
This will be a 48-yarder, missed from 38 to the right, made from 42. And this one hits the upright on the other side. So an upright on the right, an upright on the left. Otherwise, Atlanta might be leading this game. And this from a guy who's been Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, the snap, hold placement, kick is sound. Matt Bryant just a little bit off target here today, and the Falcons still trail.
Frustration for Matt Bryant. Close, but the upright has kept him from 2 field goals in this game. Good field position for Washington as Matt Jones is in the backfield, and he gets the carry. Gets up across the 43-yard line. Trent Robinson, who had an interception, Trenton, a special teams player, goes for the block, and he doesn't get it. But the field goal, he probably made Matt Bryant miss, and he's celebrating here, but then in that moment, Ron, it looked like when he went over to the sideline, he was hurt.
I'm not going to speculate, but landed on that one leg. Looks like he's joking. He should be all right.
Pitch to Chris Thompson. First down, Redskins, and down in Atlanta territory at the 48-yard line.
Matt Bryant's such a reliable kicker. I'm somewhat shocked. You know, he told us before the game, just talking to him, that he doesn't worry about some of the epidemic misses that are going around the league. I was with him in Tampa. He's as solid as they come. He's 40 years old. You said it, Chris. Mr. Reliable. It's pretty unbelievable. He has 2 misses on the day already.
Inside handoff. That's Crowder. And it only gets a couple before Nate Stupar makes the tackle. Well, I don't know if you expected this, a 7-3 low-scoring game. Of course, missed field goals, but with the injuries in the Redskins secondary, Jay Gruden, his team has played keep away here. Still, Atlanta has the time of possession advantage. Redskins have the advantage on the clock. Cousins' pass is caught by Grant as he goes out of bounds.
Kirk Cousins has been really patient today. I mean, we continue to talk about it. This Falcons defense is pretty sound, and he told us that with a defense like this, you test yourself and your ability to just chip away, play by play, be patient. You know the big plays aren't going to be there. He gives himself a third manageable opportunity here.
Well, it's a big play for the Atlanta defense on 3rd and 6. From the 44 of the Falcons, Cousins pass, Crowder has it, and gets a first down out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Let's check in again with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, Jay Gruden spent some time at halftime with Kirk Cousins trying to calm him down. He said he really just needed to focus and relax a little bit, that he was forcing things. You know, the phrase all week that they have been using, poise in the noise. Poise in the noise. In other words, don't let the excitement in this hostile territory overtake your decision-making ability, Chris.
Meanwhile, Crowder has become the go-to guy. Garçon has had trouble holding on to the football after a gain of 12.
Oscar!
Hey, you're here.
What did he? What's that?
Chris Thompson out of bounds. I mentioned before the half that Cousins spent some time with John Gruden, Jay's brother, of course, who is a terrific broadcaster, your former head coach in Tampa Bay. It was just a few days where he went down there and looked at film. Gruden's got a whole setup. He said it was very helpful, just the position, understanding where people are, how to break down film. Not that his normal coaching staff with Washington doesn't do that, but it was an advantage. Jay Gruden said, all right, whatever works.
What did he? What's that?
On 2nd and 5, it's Matt Jones, and he will lose yardage. An excellent play by Jonathan Babineau.
Great penetration here by Jonathan Babineau. Right in front of you, see him just whip the center, Corey Lichtensteiger. Big tackle for loss.
And now it's 3rd down and 10. If they get nothing, you're looking at a 50-yard field goal try from the 32. Timeout Atlanta. Dan Quinn wanted the timeout and got it. Colin Cowherd is now on FS1. The Herd, weekdays, noon Eastern on FS1. Matt Bryant with a couple of missed field goals. The last time that happened in his career, he was a member of the Buccaneers in 2012 when he missed 2 in one game. On 3rd down and 10. Kirk Cousins with a screen, and Thompson is brought down right away. It's Babineau again.
What a great recognition by Jonathan Babineau there on that screen pass. Defensive lineman, he's right here in the middle of your screen. Defensive linemen are the ones that have to make these reactive type plays. He felt the offensive guard throw him by, and he reacted as quick as you possibly could. Snuff that play out.
And that makes the field goal try for Dustin Hopkins just a little bit more difficult. 53 yards. He has not missed as a professional. Also perfect on extra points. But it's that kind of day for kickers in Atlanta. Both he and Matt Bryant were perfect coming into this game. It stays 7-3 Redskins. Atlanta after a big defensive stand. That's the way the coaches reacted to the missed Washington field goal. So excellent field position for Ryan and the Falcons from the 43. Devontae Freeman with his 16th touch of the game. And he slips a tackle Picks up 9 yards. He's run for 75 yards today, has 3 catches as well, but has been kept out of the end zone.
Well, the passing offense here in Atlanta is yet to materialize today, but this guy has continued his form from the past couple of weeks. I'd keep feeding him the ball, Chris.
It's only a 4-point game. 3 missed field goals. 2 by Atlanta, 1 by the Redskins. It's Freeman. He gets the first down to the 43 of Washington. For this high-scoring Atlanta offense, it's been a struggle today. 3 sacks. You can throw in the Matt Ryan interception. Trenton Robinson. Fumble of Matt Ryan. William Compton recovered. Kyle Shanahan is hoping that Julio Jones can come up big. He has 1 catch in the game. Matt Ryan chased by Kerrigan. A shovel pass to Freeman, and he gets inside the 40. Let's get a game break. Check in with Mike Hill.
Yeah, guys, Seattle's defense officially back. Michael Bennett blows up the reverse, forces the fumble, recovered by Bobby Wagner, takes it 23 yards for the score. They also have a pick in this game. It's 24-7 Seattle in Cincinnati.
All right, thank you. Seahawks winning. The Eagles from the NFC East tied with the Saints from the South. The Giants and Cowboys play later today and tonight. Washington came in tied for the top spot in the East, and the Falcons tied with the top spot with Carolina in the South. Ryan's throw is low after an unusual snap intended for Nick Williams. By the way, James Stone is in at center for Mike Person.
There was a little bit of a bobble on the snap there by Matt Ryan. Usually reliable, has got good hands, but you know, this offense usually finds creative ways to get Julio Jones involved. You know, when I'm breaking down the film of this team, you see the slip screens, you see the 1 or 2 yard completions, and then let Julio Jones take off. I haven't seen one of them yet today, Chris.
And this is the 6th time that Atlanta has been in Washington territory, and all they have is a field goal so far. Pressure on Ryan. He has to let it go early, and it's incomplete. Stephen Paya was in his face.
Jake Matthews just whiffed on him. Immediate pressure. Nowhere to go with that football.
So now it's 4th down and 6 from the 40. They went on 4th and 5 before from the 39. They're going for it again.
Julio Jones, bottom of your screen.
Need to get to the 34. There's Julio Jones, and that's a first down Atlanta. To the 31 of Washington. That'll wake this place up.
Yeah, nice completion there by Atlanta. Washington drops into a zone, and Matt Ryan just reads this easily. He's just pitch and catch, easy completion and a first down for this Falcons offense. I was somewhat surprised that Washington didn't challenge the receiver there and dropped into that zone. Matt Ryan took advantage of him.
Julio Jones, bottom of your screen. Roddy White at the top. Devontae Freeman, the ball. There's a flag and a whistle before that ever got going.
False start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That call is on Roddy White, who some thought very unhappy not being one of the primary targets, but we talked to Dan Quinn about that, who said he did talk to Roddy White face to face. Kyle Shanahan did the same and said he understands his role. He's being a professional about it.
And Matt Ryan told us that just continue to do your job and the ball will find you. It's not that they're trying to not get him the football. I mean, it's just the way the progressions work. Obviously, that has to start with Julio Jones. He's the best player, best receiver in football, I think. But he'll get his opportunities.
It's only the 2nd penalty on Atlanta. Another high snap as Freeman gets the football and turns the corner to the 30. Here comes a flag. Looks like a horse collar on that far sideline.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle. Defense number 26. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Rashad Breeland called for the infraction.
You know, Rashad Breeland took a bad angle towards his tackle and allowed Devontae Freeman to outflank him.
At least he didn't pull his hair.
Didn't pull his hair. This ends up being a huge penalty out on 15 yards, and now they're set up at the 15-yard line.
In the red zone, came into this game as the best team scoring touchdowns in that department. Freeman knocked out of the 12. Yeah, inside the 20. Coming into this game, they had 15 trips and got 12 touchdowns out of it.
And they're very proficient down here. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves. But what Kyle Shanahan told us is that they want to be able to run the football down here. Obviously, you have a big target in Julio Jones. Roddy White, who leads the all-time leader in touchdown receptions here. But I expect Devontae Freeman to stay involved here, even down here in the red zone.
The team is averaging 5 yards a carry in this game. Interesting formation with all three of the receivers. Hankerson in the middle. And it's Freeman with the carry to the 10.
You got to wonder if Dan Quinn, I mean, obviously he hasn't lost faith in his kicker, Matt Bryant. You got to wonder down here again, haven't had success, still only 3 points on the scoreboard, if this is 4-down territory for him here.
Well, I think Dan Quinn has showed, and he said under Pete Carroll, whom he coached with, under the philosophy of being aggressive going forward, I think he showed he's already got that kind of mentality with his team. On 3rd down and 5. Matt Ryan, end zone throw and incomplete. Hankerson the target. And it was never developing the way Atlanta wanted it to.
Well, this was really a bad throw by Matt Ryan. They're going to bring the field goal unit out. He has Hankerson. You see him in there on the slot working on Kyshawn Jarrett, and this ball is just not even close to his receiver. And that could be a factor of Hankerson being a little bit injured. He doesn't have as much the explosiveness that I think we've seen from him in the past.
And the pass rush of Washington in previous situations where Ryan lost a fumble, suffered an interception. This field goal try, 28 yards. 1 out of 3 today for Matt Bryant. Hitting the upright each time. And he missed the uprights, but he made the field goal. The Falcons cut Washington's lead to 1.
Both starting cornerbacks for the Washington Redskins are out, but we're keeping track of their thrown at and completions. And look at this, Will Blackman and Rashad Breeland having a really good day. Only 2 completions for 26 yards, and I don't think anybody who was watching this game would think that they would be that successful. Give them a lot of credit for what they've done today to this Falcons offense.
There's Chris Culliver. You saw D'Angelo Hall, a one-time Falcon, expected back after the bye week, about 2 or 3 weeks away. Rashad Ross takes it on the fly, and he can fly up across the 30. Redskins take over an offense late in the 3rd quarter, protecting a 1-point lead. The NFL and the American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join the fight against breast cancer, just as Devontae Freeman has joined the fight to support his grandmother.
My grandma got cancer, so you know, it was a battle for her. Well, she beat it. I just let her know this for you, all the stuff you've been through. But I just want to represent you, so I wore pink mouthpiece and a pink towel to just let you know I'm fighting for you and stuff. So I wanted to represent her.
Freeman focusing on helping the cause his grandmother and his team today with 90 yards rushing. Also has 4 catches for the Falcons, who have been kept out of the end zone thus far. 3 tight ends that come in for the Redskins, who take over on 1st down from their own 30. Alfred Morris is back in at running back.
Hey, double! Hey, 59!
Morris the carry, knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. It's only his 7th carry of the game. Matt Jones has 7. Thompson has carried twice. Those are the current numbers. The rush yards for Atlanta surprising the Redskins, who came in leading the league, averaging 140 yards rushing a game. Only have 40 so far. Cousins behind Brian Grant. It'll bring up third down.
Kirk Cousins a little bit off on a couple of deliveries. Saw the interception earlier to Pierre Garçon was behind him, and he had Ryan Grant wide open right there. Ball again delivered behind him.
On third down and 10. Cousins off the hands. Garçon had a shot at it. Cousins to the ground, and it's fourth down.
Right decision, poor delivery. Gets a little bit of pressure in his face here, but I don't think this is what affected the throw. He had time. He was able to step into it. But running through this zone coverage, it's about the third time that a ball has been just out of the reach of Pierre Garçon's hands. Just a little bit off target.
Tress Way punting it away. Eric Weems. There's a flag down, and he gets shoved back. Trying to get up to the 19-yard line.
It's a definite hold out there on the edge. Quentin Dunbar pulled his guy down on the ground. This is going to go back well inside the 10-yard line here.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 37. 10-yard penalty, Atlanta keeps the ball, first down.
It'll back up the Falcons.
Sorry, I meant Quentin. That was a pretty good hold.
Ricardo Allen.
Dunbar was the one being affected.
Yeah, it's the actual
Ricardo Allen is
infraction.
the one getting the penalty.
So now from the 9-yard line. Redskins have been taking a beating here. The Eagles have gone in front of the Saints. Get an update on that game. Third quarter winding down. Freeman with a hole. And Devontae Freeman all the way up to the 27-yard line with a first down run to get a first down. 18 yards on that carry, and he's over 100 yards for the day.
Watch the block on the edge by Jake Matthews on Trent. He's just able to get a nice, big, explosive run. Like I said, Chris, this offense has a lot of juice when they turn around and hand it to 24. See if they can keep riding him out the rest of this football game.
Averaging over 5.5 yards a carry this afternoon. Freeman gets it again and goes out of bounds. As the third quarter, has wound down. And the Falcons, trailing by one, have the football at the end of 3 in Atlanta. Postseason baseball, Blue Jays and Rangers. Toronto needs to win. Texas could get the sweep. You'll see it on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go tonight. Been enjoyable watching Frank Thomas, Pete Rose on the pregame show, the coverage of baseball's postseason. Well, only one other time have the Falcons started out 5-0. That's what they're trying to do. And the Redskins trying to win back-to-back games for the first time since Week 8 last year. Freeman gets another first down up near the 39. And Rondé, when we talked about this game, we didn't start with the defenses of Washington and Atlanta, but it's been a defensive kind of game.
Both teams are good on third down. They have been all year today. The Redskins are holding Atlanta to 33%. Now the other side is 30%. So yeah, you got to give them credit. I didn't expect this type of game. We know what kind of explosiveness Matt Ryan provides to this offense, but Joe Barry there, the defensive coordinator for the Redskins, I think has put together a pretty good plan to limit some of the things that this offense usually does well.
Freeman with 120 yards rushing on 20 carries. Matt Ryan to throw quickly and incomplete. The coverage was good. He was trying to get to Roddy White, and there's a flag. Will Blackman was over there covering. 4 penalties on the Redskins so far.
Pass interference. Defense number 41. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
This wasn't a great executed route, but clearly pass interference. Yanking his arm, pulling him to the ground.
Matt Ryan is 15 out of 30. 158 yards.
Uncommon numbers for Matt Ryan.
And the leading receiver in the game, Jacob Tammy, with 7 catches for 79 yards. There is the Falcon tight end. Splits out as a receiver as Freeman gets the football and sprints to the 45 of Washington. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Eagles and Saints were tied at 10, but then Philly put up 2 touchdowns in 13 seconds. The second, Sam Bradford to Brett Selleck, 13-yard score. They missed the PAT. It's 23-10. Chris, Rondé, and Jay.
Catching a theme over here in Atlanta, though. Keep running the ball over to the left side of the line. Jake Matthews doing a great job. Andy Levitre, who they brought in from Tennessee in the offseason, finding some pay dirt over there with this young running back on that side of the offense.
And this time the Redskins take care of Freeman right at the 45-yard line. Atlanta has 2 missed field goals by Matt Ryan. Both hit the upright, one to the right, one to the left. There would be a different story. And Hopkins missed for Washington.
133 yards on the ground, Chris. This offensive line was really maligned last year. They did a lot of things poorly. Matt Ryan was sacked way too many times. Early in this season, again, continue to talk about it, how well they've done providing some room for this running game.
After a loss of 1, he's been sacked 3 times today. Has time, but he's going to keep it. Matt Ryan will slide, and it should be enough for a first down.
And where they're spotting it, I think he started his slide right at the 35-yard line. To me, it looks like they're going to mark him just a yard short of it.
Now, Ryan should be aware of that. He had room to slide, and he quickly goes to the line without a huddle. It's funny because the yard marker on one side of the field had a first down. Maybe they didn't have time to change it. The other side had a third down. Maybe he's trying to catch Washington before their substitutions.
Well, I think Matt Ryan realized that he made a goof there, sliding a little bit too early. He's like, I'm just going to the line and getting this myself.
Not noted for running.
Yeah, he's not necessarily a runner, but he has some athleticism. He's functional out of the pocket. But yeah, you see where he starts his slide right there at the 35-yard line. It's not where he is right there. It's where he started to go to the ground, so it was a correct spot. But he made right on that quarterback sneak and got the first down.
From the 33 of Washington, Devontae Freeman gets down to the 30, battling for every yard.
Tough runner, man. Not a big guy, 5'8", 215 pounds or so, Chris?
In that range. Teron Ward is only 5'7".
Yeah, the banger in this group is usually Tevin Coleman, who we haven't seen a lot of in this game. It's because Devontae Freeman continues this hot streak of running the football. They're just riding him right now.
Coleman has only 2 carries, 23 carries for Freeman, 133 yards on the ground. On 2nd and 7, open, that's Roddy White. First down from the 15.
First catch of the day for Roddy White. This again.
And the fans appreciative of all he's done over the years.
For sure they are.
And how big this catch is now.
And they should. There's some bad snap to Matt Ryan again, some fumbling, but a nice throw to Roddy White. in the red zone again. See if they can convert this into some points in the form of a touchdown points.
Freeman the carry, gets through to the 10. Devontae Freeman down inside the 3-yard line, and it's 1st and goal Falcons.
It's got to feel like Groundhog Day for the Washington Redskins. They continue to run this stretch run to the left side, and play selection on this drive. Turn and hand the ball to 24. 9 runs on this drive, the one completion that we just saw to Roddy White. And I would not be surprised if Kyle Shanahan turns around and hands it to him again. See if he can get his 8th rushing touchdown of the year.
1st and goal from the 3. Julio Jones splits out to the top of your screen. Devontae Freeman the back. Devontae Freeman. And the ball's loose. Julio Jones is on it. It's a Falcon touchdown.
I believe it was Keenan Robinson who got in here and knocked this ball out of Devontae Freeman's hands. No, against Chris Baker. I just saw the 2, but Julio Jones hasn't been that involved as a receiver, but the ball squirts out to him, and ends up being a big score for the Atlanta Falcons.
Julio Jones was going to get in the end zone with the football somehow today, and they're going for the 2-point conversion to make it a 14-7 game. Atlanta's 1 out of 2 this year. That was the 5th touchdown for Julio Jones this season. 4 have come on receptions. The fumble recovery after Freeman lost it. Matt Ryan, end zone incomplete. Hankerson had it knocked away by Will Blackman. But the Falcons lead, finally breaking through in an unusual way in the end zone with Julio Jones on top of the football, and frustration on the Redskins sideline. Saturday, a full day of college football across the Fox networks, highlighted by West Virginia against third-ranked Baylor. That's on Fox. A Pac-12 clash with Arizona, Colorado, and FS1. Saturday, Fox FS1, the Big Ten Network, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Jones capping an 11-play drive as Bosher kicks off. Rashad Ross, if he has the chance, and he won't, to the 20-yard line. The Redskins trailing and have the football after Atlanta marches 91 yards and comes up golden in the end zone. Moments of the game on Fox from the 20-yard line. Kirk Cousins with 9:14 to play in the 4th quarter is rolling out and throwing complete at the 30-yard line. Jamison Crowder. There's a flag down.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense number 21. Penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
Kirk Cousins smooth on that play. Alfred Morris saying his teammates call him Captain Kirk. He was a captain at Michigan State, was Cousins, but they never called him Captain Kirk, and he's not a Star Trek. I won't say he was a fan, he just never really watched the show.
A little dated, a little too young for that one.
Cousins, Crowder, a lot of room for Jamison Crowder. Inside the 45 of Atlanta. The rookie from Duke with a dazzling display of speed and a 26-yard gain.
Little play action fake here, read option. The pass is coming all the way, and Jamison Crowder, Chris, you mentioned it earlier in the game, he's been the spark on this offense. No Reed, no Deshaun Jackson. Somebody's had to step up, and it's been this young kid out of Duke.
He has replaced Andre Roberts as the slot receiver. Cousins, deep, Ross, there's a flag. The speedy Rashad Ross was trying to get to it. Alfred covering.
Well, this offense hasn't been much of a shot-type team without Deshaun Jackson, who I just mentioned, out with an injury.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. Butt foul. Automatic first down.
To get a big play on the previous play, and why not take a shot? You're in the alumni zone. We used to call it the 40 to 40, and coaches love to shoot, take a shot down the field, and actually really decent coverage. The shoulder on the hand on the shoulder pad, I think, is what they saw.
It's a 42-yard pass interference penalty, all the way down to the 2 of Atlanta. And Alfred is steamed. Matt Jones at running back. Darrell Young, the fullback. Matt Jones has a Redskin touchdown.
Darrell Young did the job on that touchdown run by Matt Jones. Blocking on the edge, giving his running back some options. You'll see him motion out here and get into the flat so he can pin this defender out here, and there's just no chance. Running back has a two-way go. Good job by the fullback, giving his running back an option there to score that touchdown.
Third touchdown of the season for him, and Jay Gruden opting to go for 2. Redskins are 1 out of 1 in that department. We saw Atlanta try that and fail. So if they convert, it's a 3-point Washington advantage. Remember, this can be returned for 2 by Atlanta should they intercept or get a fumble and run it back. Kirk Cousins gets rid of it for Carrier, and it's not converted. The score remains 13-12. Pass interference play of 42 yards. Set up Matt Jones, the rookie from Florida. And Washington is back out in front. Robert Alford frustrated on the pass interference penalty called against him, and his coach quick to get to him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a questionable pass interference call. Alford is a young corner in this league. He's had a really decent game, but he's telling him to forget it. Move on. Next snap, we're going to need you. Great coaching, I thought.
Falcons will come out to the 20 now. So Matt Ryan after a successful drive. That drive by Washington covering 80 yards, the penalty assist. It's a toss-up game, Rondé. So how do the Falcons, who've had success running with Devontae Freeman over 100 yards today, how do they play that here?
Well, you know you have a quarterback with great arm talent, but I'm telling you, Devontae Freeman has been the catalyst for this offense today. I would expect them to turn around and hand this ball off. There's 8 minutes left in this football game. They don't feel like they have to chase the game at this point, Chris. They still have time to run what they've been successful at all day. And I expect Matt Ryan to turn around and hand this ball to this kid and let him do his work, the same work he's been doing all afternoon.
146 yards rushing for Devontae Freeman, a career best. Ryan to throw, and he gets it to Freeman. Freeman came in leading the NFL with 7 touchdowns. He almost had another one. Julio Jones recovering his fumble in the end zone, but he's been the workhorse with 25 carries and 5 catches. Second year back from Florida State.
Been able to run with speed, been able to run with power, quickness, explosiveness. It's been a treat watching this kid the past couple of games, and he's on display again today, Chris.
Freeman goes into the crowd. Matt Ryan 17 of 32 and 178 yards. He did lose a fumble and suffer an interception in the first half of this game.
It'll be interesting. You know, we talked early in this game about time of possession. Both of these teams have led the league 1 and 2 in time of possession, and it'll be a big factor at the end of this football game. So far, the Falcons have dominated it 10 minutes more than Washington. See if they can keep a drive going here.
Freeman, bottom of your screen as a receiver on 3rd and 5. And there's Julio Jones for a first down. 3 Redskins have to bring him down, shoving him back from the 34-yard line.
We talked about how varied this Falcons offense is in placement with Julio Jones. They put him inside on this situation, and they get a one-on-one matchup with the linebacker, and Julio Jones is just a better athlete than the guy covering him. An easy throw and catch from Matt Ryan.
An Atlanta record for most catches in the first 4 games to start a season. 5 draft picks traded for the former Alabama star. Tevin Coleman in at running back. Ryan fakes. Matt Ryan intercepted. He was trying to go to Roddy White. Rashad Breeland with the pick. And Breeland down to the 21 of Atlanta. Coleman had to make the tackle.
Well, Matt Ryan has a little bit of a history of throwing some fourth-quarter interceptions. We had a game with them last year, and this happened again, but this is just a really good play by Rashad Breeland. Over route by Roddy White, and Roddy White's not going to outrun anybody at this point, but look how ball aware he gets when this pass is delivered. What a huge turnover for this Washington Redskins defense. Again, much credit to this secondary, this beat-up secondary, and what they've been able to do today to the Falcons.
Well, Matt Ryan only had 2 picks as D'Angelo Hall congratulating the defense that has stepped in with him and Culliver out. Ryan has suffered 2 picks today.
Man, you got to wonder why everybody in the stadium, and they're probably questioning, why are we throwing the football right here? Got a running back that's dominating this game, throw a pass and get an interception.
Matt Jones, the football. Brought down right away inside the 20.
Well, this situation now, 5.5 minutes left in the game. Washington is going to try to milk this clock as much as they can. Atlanta's defense, it is imperative that they get a stop here. Force a field goal opportunity and give the ball back to Matt Ryan, an opportunity to win this game at the end.
And you saw, the Falcons used a timeout on defense earlier. They have 2 remaining. Dan Quinn had to call one in that case. Now Matt Jones is kind of the muscle in the trio of running backs as Chris Thomas checks in. Chris Thompson, excuse me. Alfred Morris started the game, and all 3 continue to play. Kirk Cousins to throw, and he goes underneath to Thompson, who gets down to the 10 and has a first down for the Redskins.
Atlanta continues to sit back in this soft zone, not really challenging the receivers. And when you put Chris Thompson in the game, I said it early in this game, he's such a matchup problem, and Kirk Cousins has no urgency to push this ball downfield. There's no reason for him to not make the sure completion. He did it right there, gave him a first down at the 10-yard line.
Now Jones has come back in, and I bring up the muscle and all this, but he has had a bit of a fumbling problem that the Redskins have worked through with him, they hope, especially in a situation like this. Jones the carry. It's down to the 6-yard line, and the clock continues to run just over 4 minutes. Redskins with that offensive line that has been so solid, the tightest group on the team, and the #1 rushing team coming into this game in the entire NFL. They haven't exactly dominated on the ground today like Atlanta has. but they do have the lead. Matt Jones met hard. A stone wall of red. It'll bring up third down.
What do you do here, Chris, is the question, right? You want this clock to tick, 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 tick. It's in your favor, but you need to score. Field goal gives them an opportunity, gives Atlanta an opportunity to go down and win the football game. Do you try to go for the end zone here? Sean McVay, one of the coordinators with Jay Gruden calling plays. He lines up Chris Thompson out to the top of your screen all by himself. Let's see if they try to get him the football here in a one-on-one matchup.
Cousins to Crowder. He'll lose yardage. Thrown to the ground by Paul Warlow.
Dan Quinn told us that Paul Warlow defines grit on this defense, and when they needed a big play, he provides it. Spread them out completely, empty backfield, so you know there's going to be a matchup on one of these two linebackers out here. Look at the communication by the defense. The tight end has no chance to block him. Huge play.
Falcons used a timeout. They'll have one remaining. They didn't want to let the Redskins run the clock down. Hopkins, who came in perfect, missed from 53. This will be a 28-yarder to make it a 4-point difference.
Good job by Atlanta's defense there. Needed to keep them out of the end zone. You knew Washington was going to try to play that safe. They weren't going to take any chances across the middle where a ball might get intercepted. And the defense rose to the occasion. Got to stop.
2:42 to play. Way is the holder. It's been hit or miss for kickers today. Hopkins nailed it. Redskins lead 16-12, but there's time for Matt Ryan. Well, they're playing like two first-place teams. This season, stream live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. 30 career game-winning drives, 3 this year, and Redskin fans remember in 2012, Matt Ryan engineered one against Washington. One timeout for Atlanta. They take over at the 20-yard line and need a touchdown with 2:38 to go. They'll still have the 2-minute warning.
And that one timeout is big. It's big to note that that's the only one remaining. But again, still have the 2-minute warning in your favor if you're Atlanta. And you got to imagine that Washington's defense, their only defense here is the goal line. They can let them eat up the clock, march all the way down the field. They just have to defend a touchdown. See what Matt Ryan comes out with here to get this drive going.
And last week, Washington drove the length of the field with a last-second drive to win behind Kirk Cousins. But Matt Ryan trying to do that for Atlanta, for Freeman underneath to the 27. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kirk Menefee.
Well, Cleveland once down 21-9 have come back to take the lead in Baltimore, but check out the catch. Gary Barnidge, the tight end, makes the grab really between his legs. His third touchdown in the last 3 weeks. They lead at 22-21.
Meanwhile, back here, a tough catch made by Jacob Tamme. His 8th catch of the game. Nearing the 2-minute warning. I don't know if they'll be able to get the playoff in time. I think Matt Ryan would like to, but with one timeout, they have hit the 2-minute mark from the 42 of Atlanta. The Falcons trailing the Redskins in the late moments. From the 42-yard line, the coordinators on the spot. Atlanta trails by 4. Matt Ryan. Devontae Freeman gets out of bounds. A little bit short of the first down. The spot looks like they're putting it at the 49 of Washington.
A guy like Matt Ryan thrives in these situations. You do this situational football every single week. He's been in so many of these chances, had so many of these chances around through his career, and he's been excellent at it.
Protection for Matt Ryan. Julio Jones, first down, 37 of Washington. The nickname Matty Ice, he said it doesn't matter when in the game, but I think experience makes you play faster when you have to. He's playing fast now. Julio Jones underneath, slips a tackle, gets a first down to the 21 of Washington.
Washington's going to sit back in this soft zone, let them throw these passes underneath. Just got to come up and make tackles if you're the Redskins. But Matt Ryan, you know he's going to take an opportunity to the red zone the closer he gets and see if it comes right here.
Ryan on the move. He's going to keep. Head on, go out of bounds. Ran into Kaishan Sherrick.
I don't think I've ever seen Matt Ryan do that. This is how important it is. Team is 4-0. Want to show some toughness. And he gets out of his pocket. He could easily just stepped out of bounds here. Get it. I'm running over you. Like it. It's the grit that this coach brings to this football team.
2 interceptions and a lost fumble in this game. Matt Ryan now has this game in his hands. And 2nd and 2 with a minute to play and 1 timeout. Ryan knocked away at the last moment. Rashad Breeland, he was trying to get the football to Leonard Hankerson in the end zone.
Great awareness by Rashad Breeland there. The Redskins are playing a 3-deep zone. So this is the throw. It's the seam to the inside, and the only person that can make that play is the corner overlapping. That was a heck of a play.
And now it's 3rd down and 2. Atlanta trying to go to 5-0. Redskins trying to get to 3-2. Both share their division leads. Ryan's throw. He's got him. It's a touchdown. Devontae Freeman.
Man-to-man defense out there. He knows because Tom Compton is out there in man-to-man coverage. Devontae Freeman drops this ball, but he clearly makes a football move. 2 steps, reaches the ball across the goal line. This will stand as a touchdown.
Redemption at the moment for Matt Ryan. And the 8th touchdown already for Devontae Freeman. 7 on the ground. This one through the air. And it could be the game winner. And Atlanta.
Play is under review.
Yeah, the play, of course, all scoring plays under review. Interesting that they're going to just go for the extra point to make it a 3-point difference. So they don't lose if there's a late field goal from Washington. Ruled a touchdown on the field, being reviewed. Devontae Freeman with the catch and reaching across the end zone, ruled a touchdown. The scoring play reviewed. Did he become a runner before the ball came out and broke the plane?
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. The player lost the ball, did not maintain control of the pass when he hit the ground, That forces an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th and 2 on the 13-yard line on the right hash.
Couple of things here. Now that it's 4th and 2, Atlanta needs to get a first down, but we'll bring in Mike Pereira here. But because he's getting contacted as he's making this play, and he hasn't had an opportunity to make that second move, they're saying that he needs to maintain possession of the catch all the way to the ground.
Our rules analyst, Mike Pereira. And Mike, was there enough to overturn that in your opinion?
Well, ask Tyler Eifert and ask Des Bryant. I mean, it's the same type of play. He was contacted by the defender. He's going to the ground. He had not become the runner. Forget the football move. So this definition of the rule, which was tweaked this year, says clearly that you have to hold on to the ball when you hit the ground. And again, it's a consistent ruling. Yeah, it's what they tried to do, even though sometimes it doesn't make sense. Common sense and consistency is what they want and what they get.
Well, now the Falcons are trying to tweak things for a first down. And Roddy White hangs on in a crowd and got the first down. So the touchdown taken off the board. On 4th and 2, they convert to White. 1 timeout, clock running. The Falcons still need the touchdown from the 6 of Washington. Devontae Freeman. Can he get to the end zone? Touchdown Falcons!
No surprise at all for me. Turn around, hand the ball to the guy that's been doing it all day long. Devontae Freeman on this touchdown run. Now his 8th in 3 games, or 8th on the year, I'm sorry. What a good call.
The timeout, Rodney, for the review, that amount of time gave Atlanta time to prepare for the 4th and 2 and then what they would call after that. And Freeman, who's been the go-to guy all day.
Keenan Robinson, their best player on defense, had a chance to make a tackle there. And Chris, I'm not sure if you're Washington, if you didn't want that initial touchdown by Devontae Freeman to hold up, because he would have given your quarterback 51 seconds with 3 timeouts on the field or on the clock to go down and try to win this game. And as it stands now, Kirk Cousins gets the ball back with under 30 seconds, and it looks like a daunting task for the Redskins to come out of here with the victory.
The Redskins only need a field goal to tie, and Barry thought his defense had it all figured out. But Matt Ryan, calm and cool, even with a touchdown pass, was taken off the board. Freeman slips a tackle and gets his 8th touchdown of the season, leading the NFL, all on the ground.
Some nice completions there, yes, by Matt Ryan. But this Atlanta offense is all about Devontae Freeman right now. What a gutsy call by Kyle Shanahan with time running out. You did have a timeout remaining, but he gave it to the guy who's been doing it all day. He comes up big for him.
Well, Kirk Cousins, Ryan with another, maybe, heroic comeback, and the guy they call Captain Kirk has to be Captain Comeback. He was last week when Jay Gruden's team rallied against the Eagles to win. All 3 timeouts, but only 24 seconds. And Julio Jones was big on that drive. Now he's got 5 catches in the game. But Freeman, 153 yards rushing and 7 catches in the game for Atlanta.
Well, Washington chose not to challenge any of that underneath completions by Atlanta, and they paid the price for it. A couple of those chunk plays down the field got them in position with enough time on the clock to give you some options down in the red zone. When they got down there, Matt Ryan, this offense just too good.
This will sail through for a touchback coming out to the 20. After this game, bonus coverage, Seattle and Cincinnati tied at 24. They may be headed to overtime. And Matt Ryan, who's had a frustrated afternoon, has overcome a couple of picks. His first lost fumble of the year, being sacked 3 different occasions, and figuring out the defense of Washington and getting a break on a Freeman fumble earlier that was recovered by Julio Jones for a touchdown.
Yeah, this is a real gutty performance, though, and it's not over yet. 24 seconds. You need a couple of big completions here. Atlanta's got corners on the line of scrimmage. Pierre Garçon down here. See if he gets an opportunity to get some yardage here for this Washington offense.
Kirk Cousins to Derek Carrier, who's got a lot of running room and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Again, 3 timeouts for Washington. He's all the way up to the 40-yard line.
That's just the way you wanted to start here. Last week when in their 2-minute drive against Philadelphia, they had a big play by Alfred Morris to give them some change in field position. Here's another one. 17 seconds. You need a completion near the sideline, but you still have 3 timeouts if you're Washington here.
That red marking on the field is the range where you need to get to that Hopkins has been able to kick field goals successfully. Cousins with time. Pierre Garçon sliding to the 41. Maybe his most important catch of the day.
How clutch.
And a timeout Washington with 10 seconds to play.
How clutch has Kirk Cousins been these past couple of weeks? You know, he was plagued by turnovers early in his career here, making some sound decisions. When he had to step up and make a big throw through this zone coverage, watch his delivery, direct. He was off a little bit to Pierre Garçon earlier in the game. That was a great throw.
Dustin Hopkins has made in college 5 of 6 when he was at college from over 50. But 46 is the red line. That's his best as a pro. He missed earlier from beyond 50 in this game. Right now you're looking at a 59-yarder, but the clock is the enemy.
You can complete one play here in 10 seconds to get a timeout. Cannot take a sack.
Kirk Cousins to Crowder, who gets out of bounds around the 35. And did he hang on? Yes, he did, and the clock stops with 5 seconds to go. You can't take any chances. Here comes Dustin Hopkins, set an NCAA division career record with 448 points at Florida State. But he's on the spot here from 52 yards.
In a game where kicking has been an issue with 2 guys that hadn't missed all year, have missed 3 field goals today. It is very apropos that it comes down to this kick right here to decide if we extend this football game.
Hopkins for the tie from 52, and tie game. Kirk Cousins engineers another comeback and gives his kicker a chance against Matt Ryan in Atlanta.
Color me impressed here, Chris. Captain Kirk all the way down the field, and then Hopkins, who's been solid all year. Clutch kick on the road. Send this game to overtime. What a good game we got, Chris.
And after missing a 53-yarder earlier that was wide right with everything on the line, Hopkins was cool and delivered.
Snap, hold, good. Placement, good. Kick, solid, easily good.
It was a defensive struggle to start. It's been a wild 4th quarter with big plays from some of the big names like Freeman and Ryan and Jones.
I think it's worth noting, 2nd year of Jay Gruden, and this is a different football team. Years past, they would have wilted under this type of pressure, but now give themselves an opportunity to win this game on the road with a big drive at the end of the game.
Bonus coverage here, headed to overtime. The Redskins and the Falcons. Seattle and Cincinnati are in overtime as well.
Great job so far, gentlemen. We're now in overtime. We have a modified sudden death. Each team will have an opportunity to possess the ball. We play 1 15-minute quarter, 4th quarter timing rules apply. Each team has 2 timeouts. All replays are upstairs. Any questions? Washington, you're still the visitor. What is your call? He is called tails. It is tails. You want the ball. Which way you want to kick? Washington will receive first in overtime. Good luck, gentlemen.
First the Falcons battle back, then the Redskins battle back. That fan's excited for overtime in Atlanta. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, overtime at Atlanta. Quick review of the rules. And Washington is set to receive the kick. Now a touchdown would win it for the Redskins, but if they just get a field goal, Atlanta will get an opportunity to respond, and we still could end up tied if we play all 15 minutes. And nobody breaks through, and all replays initiated from the booth. Kirk Cousins, who drove his team in range for a field goal. Matt Ryan, who got a touchdown with Devontae Freeman, and the kicker, the biggest kick of his life to force the tie. Matt Bosher drives this deep. Ross, who does have a kickoff return for a touchdown this year, will not have a chance here. Washington, which won the coin flip, takes over at the 20-yard line. The numbers on Cousins: 18 of 28, 192 yards, a touchdown. He suffered an interception that went off the hands of Pierre Garçon.
Seen some serious development with Kirk Cousins this football season. Jay Gruden has to be happy with the decision that he made at quarterback. It was justified last week. I think it's justified again with what we've seen from him today. And if you're the Washington Redskins now, got some momentum coming on that last drive to get you in field goal position. We'll see if they can carry that momentum over to this drive to start this overtime period.
Cousins to throw for Crowder, the leading receiver today for Washington, and the rookie gets out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Matt Jones has suffered a toe injury. He has a questionable return in this game. His touchdown run helped Washington in a wild fourth quarter. We had 3 lead changes before the tie. Chris Thompson the back. Thompson the carry. It'll be third down.
You know, you're in overtime. Sometimes it feels like there's urgency to score, but I think it's important if you're Washington or Atlanta when they get the football back. Football field is 10 yards long, Chris. You got to continue to get first downs. Got a 3rd and 5 situation here. See what Kirk Cousins can do.
Well, it seemed like each offense had the momentum. So if you don't convert here, Atlanta could win if they punt. Atlanta could then win with a field goal. On 3rd and 4, Cousins. And Thompson held on. That was not an easy catch. Good enough for the first down. Kirk Cousins said, I'm a much better quarterback. I'm much more relaxed and comfortable. And we've seen it last few weeks.
And he's had some young guys step up and play big for him. Chris Thompson, one. Jamison Crowder, another. You expect Pierre Garçon to be a big factor in this offense. Alfred Morris, we haven't called their name much. Kirk Cousins done a great job getting the balls to the guys making plays for him.
Only 49 rushing yards for the Redskins today. He fakes to Morris. That's Crowder. Wrestled out of bounds. Did he hold on to the football at midfield?
They're calling it incomplete. And if they do, this is a heck of a play by Phillip Adams. And they're going to have to review this. I mean, this is 2 or 3 or 4 steps. I mean, I think that's a...
Yeah, he clearly became a runner.
It's clearly a runner there, right? Yeah, I mean, he even initiated a stiff arm, and they're
going to
giving
give him
the catch.
And he fumbled it out of bounds. Of course, the offensive
completion and a fumble forward out of bounds.
Player can't advance the fumble himself, the one who fumbles it, but it went out of bounds without a recovery. But an excellent defensive play, but it's a first down up to the 48.
What a day Jamison Crowder is having here today.
It's already his 8th catch of the game. Cousins still has it. And here come flags all over the place. He was chased by Beasley.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Holding, offense number 85. Holding, defense number 21. Those penalties are set. Replay first down.
Hold here on the line of scrimmage there on O'Brien Schofield, and that's clearly a hold. Vinovich sitting right there looking at it. A bunch of flags flew, but the other one was on Desmond Trufant here on Andre Roberts.
On first down, Alfred Morris gets to midfield. Last overtime game for the Redskins, a win at Dallas in 2014. Last overtime for the Falcons, a win in New Orleans, also in 2014. After those penalties offset, now it's 2nd down 8.
Falcons defense has given up some yards this year. Overtime, you need a play. They've got some talent. Haven't really affected the pocket that well. They got their rushers in there now. They're going to need to see if they can get after Kirk Cousins here.
He's only been sacked once today. Pressure coming. He gets rid of it. It's intercepted. Robert Alford. It's going to be a victory for the Falcons. Touchdown on the pick six.
Well, Nate Stuper right there on the edge gets pressure. This was the first poor decision by Kirk Cousins. He threw this blind because he felt the pressure. Communication between receiver and quarterback was off, and Robert Alford comes up with the play of the game, interception for a touchdown.
And he gave up the pass interference that allowed a touchdown earlier in the game. A 59-yard return. The Falcons are 5-0 and play Thursday night in New Orleans. Let's head now to Cincinnati.